Hello, folks. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into When the Bad Guys Always Win, the Bleakest Endings in Stories, Part 3. If you made it through Part 2, sit tight, because this time we're going even darker with twists that leave you staring at the screen. Let's get into it. In The Omen, 1976, directed by Richard Donner, evil doesn't arrive as a monster. It comes quietly, wrapped in the innocent form of a newborn child. An American diplomat, Robert Thorne's newborn child, dies shortly after childbirth. To protect his grieving wife Catherine from heartbreak, Robert agrees to adopt another infant born the same night without telling her. That child is Damien, unknowingly brought into their home as their son. At first, Damien appears perfectly normal, but as he grows older, strange and deadly events begin surrounding him. On his 5th birthday, his nanny suddenly commits suicide by hanging herself in front of dozens of guests. Animals react violently to Damien's presence, and anyone who investigates his past or suspects his true nature dies under mysterious and gruesome circumstances, including a priest who tries to warn Robert. Robert, initially skeptical, slowly begins to piece together the terrifying truth with the help of a photographer named Keith Jennings. They discover that Damien was not born of any human mother, but of a jackal. Even worse, Damien bears the mark of the beast, 666, revealing that he is the prophesied Antichrist, destined to bring about the apocalypse. After Catherine dies in a suspicious fall, Robert realizes that the only way to stop Damien is to kill him using sacred daggers known as the Daggers of Medigo. He kidnaps Damien and takes him to a church altar to complete the burial, but right before he can strike, police arrive, misunderstand the situation, and shoot Robert dead. In the final scene, Damien attends Robert's funeral standing hand in hand with the President of the United States, fully adopted into the highest circles of global power. Without resistance or consequence, evil has not only survived, but is now positioned to rule, with no one left aware of the horror that has been unleashed. In Brazil, 1985, directed by Terry Gilliam, evil takes the cold, faceless form of bureaucracy, a massive, suffocating system where paperwork, rules, and incompetence crush freedom, love, and even reality itself. The villain isn't a man, it's the machine that governs every part of life. The story follows Sam Lowry, a low-ranking government worker in a bleak dystopian world. Haunted by vivid dreams where he soars through the sky as a heroic savior rescuing a mysterious woman, Sam yearns for escape. But reality is a tangled web of endless forms, malfunctioning machines, and brutal government surveillance. One day, a clerical error caused by a squashed insect results in the wrongful arrest and death of an innocent man named Buttle, instead of the actual suspect, a man named Tuttle. While delivering a refund to Buttle's widow, Sam glimpses Jill Layton, a truck driver who looks exactly like the woman from his dreams. Obsessed, Sam risks everything to find her, but Jill's attempts to help Buttle's family have already marked her as a terrorist in the system's eyes. To protect Jill, Sam takes a promotion in the government's terrifying Ministry of Information, hacking official records to fake her death. For a brief moment, they find happiness together, until the government strikes back. Sam is captured and subjected to brutal torture by his former friend, Jack Lint. As he's tortured, Sam's mind breaks. In his final delusion, he imagines escaping with Jill to freedom. But in reality, Sam remains strapped to the chair, permanently lost inside his own fantasy. The system wins completely, cold, silent, and utterly unstoppable, leaving nothing behind but a broken mind humming to itself. Old Boy 2003, directed by Park Chan-wook, is a Korean psychological thriller that unravels a twisted game of vengeance, manipulation, and unspeakable cruelty. The film follows Oh Dae-soo, an ordinary businessman whose life is destroyed without warning. One night, after being arrested for drunken behavior, he vanishes. When he wakes, he finds himself locked inside a windowless room resembling a cheap hotel. No explanation, no contact, only a television and daily meals delivered through a small slot. For 15 years, Dae-soo is held captive, left to rot in isolation, slowly losing his mind. Through the TV, he learns he's been framed for his wife's murder and that his daughter has vanished into adoption. Desperate, he trains his body obsessively and digs into the wall, but before he can escape, he's suddenly released. Now free but broken, Dae-soo fixates on finding his captor. His search leads him to a young sushi chef named Mi-do, and the two form a complicated bond. Unknowingly, he falls in love with her. Meanwhile, his captor, Lee Woo-jin, watches from the shadows, carefully guiding every step. The entire ordeal is revealed to be Woo-jin's revenge for a rumored Dae-soo spread in high school about Woo-jin's incestuous relationship with his sister, which led to her suicide. The most devastating twist comes when Dae-soo learns Mi-do is his own daughter, their relationship carefully engineered by Woo-jin through hypnosis. Faced with the horror of what he's done, Dae-soo cuts out his own tongue in desperation, begging Woo-jin for mercy. Woo-jin calmly exits and kills himself, his revenge complete. In the final scene, Dae-soo seeks hypnosis to erase the truth, embracing Mi-do while his smile slowly twists into agony. The villain wins, leaving Dae-soo trapped inside a nightmare he can't escape. In Knowing, 2009, director Alex Proyas delivers a rare kind of sci-fi horror, not about alien invasions or mad scientists, but the terrifying feeling of pure helplessness. The film stars Nicolas Cage as John Kessler, an MIT astrophysics professor whose life spirals after his young son Caleb receives a strange piece of paper from a 50-year-old school time capsule. Unlike the other kids' drawings, this paper is filled with numbers. No pictures, just rows of digits written by a disturbed girl named Lucinda. John soon realizes that these numbers predict dates, locations, and death tolls of every major disaster from the last 50 years. And even worse, 3 events still remain. The more he investigates, the clearer it becomes. The final event is not another accident, but an extinction-level solar flare that will wipe out all life on Earth. As John's desperation grows, so does the mystery behind the beings whispering to his son. They aren't government agents or cultists, they're something entirely otherworldly. When the final day arrives, John discovers that these beings are extraterrestrial entities selecting a few children to evacuate the planet and start life elsewhere. Caleb and another child, Abby, are chosen, but John is not allowed to join them. He was never meant to be part of the salvation. Left behind, John returns to his estranged family as the solar flare strikes. The Earth is incinerated, its cities and people obliterated in blinding waves of fire. The planet dies. Humanity ends. The villains here aren't evil in the traditional sense. It's the unstoppable force of nature and cold cosmic indifference. Salvation comes, but only for a chosen few, while billions perish. The world ends, and there's no hero to stop it. In The Irishman, 2019, legendary director Martin Scorsese returns to the world of organized crime, but this time not to glorify it. Instead, he paints a slow, crushing story of loyalty, betrayal, and regret. The film stars Robert De Niro as Frank Sheeran, Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa, and Joe Pesci as Russell Bufalino, with an all-star cast that reads like the ultimate crime saga reunion. The story follows Frank Sheeran, a simple truck driver who quietly drifts into the world of the mafia, first through small-time theft, then contract killings. Frank rises through the ranks under the cold, calculating Russell Bufalino, eventually becoming bodyguard and confidant to powerful union leader Jimmy Hoffa. Hoffa, obsessed with reclaiming control of the Teamsters after prison, becomes increasingly defiant toward the mafia bosses who once protected him. As Hoffa's defiance grows, pressure mounts on Frank. He's placed in the impossible position between his loyalty to Hoffa and the demands of the mob. When the order finally comes, it's Frank who's forced to pull the trigger, luring Hoffa into an empty house and shooting him dead at close range. Hoffa's body vanishes, never to be found. Decades pass. Frank, like many others, serves time for unrelated crimes while the secrets stay buried. But after prison, Frank's left alone in a nursing home, estranged from his family, especially his daughter Peggy, who suspects his role in Hoffa's death. In the film's final gut-wrenching moments, Frank sits quietly, requesting the door to be left slightly open, haunted by ghosts, with no one left to forgive him. Here, the villain isn't one man, it's life itself. A lifetime of loyalty leaves Frank with nothing but guilt, loneliness, and silence. War doesn't just kill soldiers, it devours hope, friendship, and the future itself. In All Quiet on the Western Front, 2022, director Edward Berger breathes brutal life into Eric Maria Remarque's anti-war classic, taking us straight into the mud-soaked trenches of World War I with a level of raw intensity rarely seen. The film follows 17-year-old Paul Baumer, played with heartbreaking innocence, who enlists with his schoolmates, swept up by patriotic speeches and the promise of glory. They quickly learn the horrifying truth. War is not honor, but slaughter. One friend dies the very first night, and soon, Paul and his small band, Albert, Franz, Tayden, and the seasoned Cat, are clinging to life in a senseless meat grinder. The front is merciless. Flamethrowers, gas attacks, and tanks reduce men to ash and mud. Meanwhile, as German officials negotiate peace, the soldiers on the ground are ordered to keep fighting. The real villain here isn't a man, but the system and war itself. Blind leaders like General Friedrichs, who send young men to die while armistice papers are signed miles away. Paul watches his friends perish one by one. Albert burned alive, Franz lost, Tayden choosing suicide over amputation, and Kat shot by a farmer's son. Then, just minutes before the armistice takes effect at 11 a.m. on November 11, 1918, Paul is stabbed in brutal hand-to-hand combat. He dies as the war officially ends, mere seconds too late to see peace. Some horror stories don't need monsters. Sometimes evil grows quietly inside your own house, just like we saw in Omen. We Need to Talk About Kevin, 2011, directed by Lynn Ramsey, is not about villains invading from outside. It's about a mother slowly realizing that her child is the villain. Eva Kachadorian once had a successful career and happy life. Then she gave it all up to raise a family with her husband Franklin. But from the moment Kevin is born, something feels wrong. As a baby, he screams constantly when held by Eva, but goes quiet for everyone else. As a toddler and child, Kevin refuses affection, ignores his mother's love, and constantly finds small ways to torment her. To his father, though, Kevin plays the part of a normal, happy son. Franklin can't even see what Eva sees. Every time she voices concern, Franklin dismisses it. He believes Kevin is just a difficult boy, nothing more. But as Kevin gets older, his manipulations turn darker. He deliberately causes accidents. Their second child, Celia, loses an eye, and Eva suspects Kevin is behind it. The family pet goes missing. Still, Franklin defends his son. Eva and Franklin's marriage begins to fall apart. Divorce is discussed, and Kevin overhears everything. Then comes Kevin's horrifying plan. Just before his 16th birthday, Kevin locks his classmates inside the school gym and kills them one by one using a bow and arrow. Afterward, Eva returns home only to discover an even deeper nightmare. Kevin has also murdered his father and little sister. 2 years later, Eva visits Kevin in prison. He's no longer cold and smug. Now faced with adult prison, he seems scared and confused. When Eva asks why he did it all, Kevin simply says, "I thought I knew, but now I'm not so sure." That's the bleak ending. Not just that Kevin killed so many people, but that his mother saw it coming for years, powerless to stop it, and now lives with the unanswerable question of why. The villain didn't hide in the shadows. He grew up right in front of them. Primal Fear, 1996, directed by Gregory Hoblit, delivers one of the most chilling twists in legal thriller history, where evil hides behind stutters, tears, and a soft southern accent. In Chicago, hotshot defense attorney Martin Vale, Richard Gere, thrives on defending the worst clients for fame and money. But when 19-year-old altar boy Aaron Stampler, Edward Norton in a breakout role, is arrested for brutally murdering Archbishop Rushman, Vale takes the case pro bono. Aaron is found covered in blood, and all evidence points straight to him. But there's something about this shy, stammering boy that pulls Vale in. Aaron claims innocence, insists he blacked out, and says another man was there that night. As Vale digs deeper, he uncovers horrifying secrets. The Archbishop wasn't a saint. He had been sexually abusing Aaron and other altar boys, recording their abuse on videotapes. The motive seems clear: revenge. But Aaron's behavior grows even stranger. Under pressure, his personality suddenly shifts. He transforms into Roy, a violent alter ego who confesses to killing Rushman in a chilling, rage-filled outburst. The court accepts an insanity defense, believing Aaron suffers from dissociative identity disorder caused by years of abuse. The trial seems to end with justice served. Aaron will go to a mental hospital instead of prison. But then comes the gut punch. In their final conversation, Vale realizes the horrifying truth. There was never an Aaron. The stammering, gentle persona was an act. Aaron faked the entire disorder, orchestrating everything from the start. The true killer walks away smirking, and Vale, for the first time, is left completely powerless. Evil, wearing the mask of innocence, wins. And just like that, evil wins again. If you're still here, you're one of us. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and let's dive even deeper next time.